Having studied everything, all the Shastras, all the Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, Smriti Shastras, Dharma Shastras, everything that is there in our culture, having studied everything, if you didn't get to the Tattvam, the reality, if you didn't know it, and if you didn't have that freedom, then there is no point. Avijñāte pare tattve shastra dhitistu nishphala. There is no fruit, there is no benefit to your shastric study if you didn't get to the truth. That's why it is recommended to go along with an Acharya, a teacher, especially a live teacher, because they will be able to help you what to take from Shastra, what to leave, what is for your good, and understanding which principle in what way. All these we will see why Acharyas come, why Acharyas write, contribute to the tradition. Every 50, 100, 200, 500 years, there is a generation gap. Shastras get lost. Ideas change. Age changes. But what Shastras have to reveal stays the same. And these Acharyas are there to bridge that gap. The gap that I was talking about yesterday. You and me may not have the same exposure to Shastra like our forefathers did. The way they looked upon Shastras, the way they understood Shastras, the relationship they had with Shastras, we don't. So there is a gap. Then how do you bridge that gap? With knowledge, with understanding, with few practices, of course, if necessary. But then an Acharya has to be there to help us, to guide us. And here Acharya is nicely going to take us towards the ultimate reality, not going to miss it. And he has his way, his style, the traditional style of talking about it, revealing it. We will go along with him, of course, but then we are taking a little of detour and coming back to him, just so that we have the complementary understandings that would help us stay with the Acharya in this journey of understanding. I had asked few questions, and one of them was, how many Vedas are there? And what did you answer? Did you answer 4? Of course. And many people did. There are 4 Vedas. This is just to help you acknowledge the fact that even though we think we know, how much gap is there in our understanding, true understanding of everything in our culture. And this topic really gets bigger and bigger. If we didn't know anything about Shastras, that's a totally different story. An Acharya could just teach us. But the problem is we know few things on our own, and the understandings of those may not conform to the Shastric understanding, the traditional understanding, the right understanding. So there are not 4 Vedas. There are 4 types of Vedas. The number of Vedas, they are innumerable. They are countless. Every nook and corner of the universe, the entire world, there were rishis and they had Vedas. And the dividing them into these 4 types happened during the time of Vyasacharya. That's why Vyasa is considered the avatara of Narayana himself, the incarnation of Narayana, the Lord himself. Shankaram Shankaracharyam, Keshavam Vadarayanam. So Vyasa is Keshava himself, because he could foresee how intense would be the Kali Yuga and how things are going to get lost, how things are going to be compromised in terms of Shastras especially. So he collected all the Vedas, and then there was a codification, and he did an arrangement the innumerable Vedas that were available at that time, he divided into 4 types. And I think the next was, how many Brahmanas sat down to write the Vedas and where? Well, I asked this question because this is the famous idea going on. Some people are even preaching this for their whatever agenda, political or social agenda, whatever. But they are saying that Brahmanas sat down and wrote the Vedas for their benefit. So no Brahmanas nowhere sat down and wrote the Vedas. No Brahmanas nowhere sat down and wrote the Vedas. Be very clear about it. Then I also asked, there are many types of Shastras, many Shastras in our culture. Do they contradict each other? And that is another idea. People have this idea that our Shastras are full of contradictions and confusions. Even sometimes the practices people do, they contradict each other, and knowledge from one Shastra contradicts the other Shastra. These are the ideas, prevalent ideas. Yes, we do have many Shastras, we do have many types of Shastras, but there is no contradiction in Shastras. And whatever practices people are doing too, there are no contradictions. So then, would you agree that we need to know a little more about our own Shastras? Can we go on a journey now to understand our Shastras so that I can have the same attitude, same way of looking at them like my forefathers used to have? A very healthy way, because that is going to give me the real benefit of Shastra study. If I am engaging myself in Shastra study, if I am trying to look into them, if I am trying to understand them, if I am ready to listen to an Acharya about Tattva Bodha, the reality, then I think I should brush up this knowledge as well. I should clean up all the misunderstandings that are there about Shastra, because this whole thing is Shastra. What Acharya is teaching me is Shastra. How it becomes Shastra, we will see. We will look into that. In the same discussion on Shastra, this will become clear too. Why are we taking this Shastra, this book that was written by an Acharya, how are we taking this as Shastra? And like this, somebody must have written Shastras, original Shastras, so that proves our point that Shastras were written? No. You can see how crucial is this discussion to the journey of our understanding of reality. So, now, Shastras. We'll come back to the Acharya, we'll continue the journey. What are Shastras? When did they manifest? What is their role in the creation? What can they help me with? My life is good without them. Actually, some people feel better without them. Will I be missing anything if I miss Shastras in my life? If I don't go to Shastras, will I miss something? And is that something very significant? Is that something really a thing?